We're recording on your birthday. And how old are you, John?
You never ask a lady how old she is. Not that I'm a lady. I am 56. Unbelievable. I don't remember that happening. It just went poof. Like John Cleese, you know, it's in an episode of 40 Towers where he's doing a dialogue with himself and went, poof, what was that? That was your life, mate. Oh, that was quick. Can I have another one? No, sorry, mate, that's your lot. Well, that's exactly how it is. You know, it didn't seem like 10 minutes ago. I was 25, 30. A lifetime, more than a lifetime ago for you.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched much Faulty Towers as well.
No, you've missed a real fucking treat. Faulty Towers. I think they only made about 14 episodes, but it's one of the funniest things ever.
Is that the one where
Germans is the best?
Is it the one where the accountant wants to retrain as a lion tamer?
No, you're thinking of Monty Python.
Oh, okay.
Which was done by done by John Cleese. But Faulty Towers, Basil Fawlty, he ran a hotel. I think it's down in Devon, and it was just really shit. And it's just fucking. It's almost like slapstick, but it's so clever.
I'll have to give it a
really
watch.
Fucking funny.
I
can't believe you've never seen
question,
the episode with the Germans gave rise to probably the all-time comedic line, which is, will you stop talking about the war? Well, you're talking about it. Well, you started it. No, didn't you? Did you invaded Poland? Fucking brilliant. Absolutely fabulous. I'll send you a link on YouTube. It's just fucking brilliant.
I'll have to give it a go. I hope it's funnier than the way you just described it.
Oh, it is. It's a million times funnier. But I'm not going to do the silly voices on a podcast, am I?
I wouldn't put it past you.
It's probably... They probably wouldn't make it now. It's probably fucking racist or offensive.
Well, it's the same as Little Britain, isn't it? And Come Fly With Me, I believe it was called. They all got taken down. The fucking SJW left twats went after fucking, what's his name, David Walliams, because he dresses up as the fat black woman, doesn't he?
I don't know. I didn't really like Little Britain. I didn't find it very funny, but not because I found it offensive. I just didn't find it funny. My stepdaughter loved it. But people get so fucking offended by things, and when they don't realise there's a simple answer to it, it's called the off switch. You know? Yeah. I was actually having a chat today with Holly over WhatsApp. Have you seen the autistic reporter on the Onion?
No, I haven't.
It's on YouTube. It's so funny. This autistic reporter, and the funny is, autistic people find him hilarious because even though he's taking the mickey out of autistic people, the people who get offended by it are neurotypicals are getting offended on our behalf. It's so fucking patronising, you know. Yeah,
and not to get into it now, but some of the biggest outcry I saw with the Black Lives Matter stuff was the most middle class white people
Karens.
In the most white, well, not even Karens, because Karens are typically racist. The most whitewashed areas of the local area. I was like, fair enough. You're trying to, do what you think's right, but there's a level of irony here that you, a middle-aged, middle-class white person who lives in a £500,000 house plus as a minimum, is telling other white people how to behave. And even in some accounts, I saw them telling black people how they should be reacting to the whole BLM movement and whatnot.
That's what we get told how we should react to jokes about autism. I think I've had neurotypicals tell me I mustn't, not even that I shouldn't, but I mustn't describe myself as autistic. You know, the correct way to describe yourself, John, is someone with autism. Well, fuck you. You know. You don't get a fucking vote, you piece of shit. I mean, don't let your autism define you. Well, I'm sorry, but it fucking does. It's a huge part of what I am. You know, if I wasn't autistic, I'd be a completely different person. And the same people, right? The very same people, the SJW types, social justice warriors. If you don't know what that is, for the listeners. A lot of these people will wax lyrical about the rights of black people, gay people, transsexual people, etc., etc. If you were to say to them, don't let your feminism define you. Don't let your blackness define you. Don't let your gayness, your transsexualism, whatever you fucking call it, define you. They go mental. They really would. Pieces of fucking shit. Mind their own fucking business. 5 words to make the world a better place. Mind your own fucking business.
Talking of how to make the world a better place, you're 56. I'm 24. Most people don't believe that we are legitimate business partners. They believe we are my sugar daddy or
one group of people think that we're fucking a couple, don't they?
Yeah, partners. Well, too many groups of people think we're partners, which is my fault.
Yeah. Oh, if you've not heard this story to the audience, we were in a business group and they had this event, and part of the event was how to get into business or how to do business with a partner. And Connor, being Connor, thought it meant a business partner. So he toddles up to this event and he's in it he's balls deep about an hour in. And he realizes that it's for romantic partners. And all these people think that John and the EBG and Connor are a pair of fucking bum bandits.
It's when they came to me. It was called Business and Partnerships, to be perfectly honest, which is, it's a legit mistake.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, and so I turned up and I'm sat there and I'm like, this is all a bit strange because they're saying, you know, you should be talking about your sex life. I was like, I don't really want to talk to John about that. I don't think Tamsin would appreciate it, and I don't want to hear about John's sex life. And I thought, whatever, they're American. Fuck off. I know too much already. You're an oversharer. So I'm sat there, and to be perfectly honest, I just thought, this is weird American bullshit. There's going to be some good in here, as there usually is when dealing with Americans. There's a lot of bollocks, but there's usually some good. And then it was when they were going round, because it was a small, intimate group, which made it even worse. There was only like 8 of us in this session. And they start going round, and they're going, so why don't you tell us the name of your partner and a couple of things you really appreciate and love about them. And it was only
not getting
and it was only when one of them went, I really appreciate the way he looks after the kids when I'm trying to work on the business. I was like, oh shit, fucking shit, I'm in the wrong place.
You didn't say I really appreciate the way he tickles my balls in the bar under the table or anything then?
No, camera off, muted myself, went and made some lunch, so I didn't even have to listen to the rest. No way, I'm done here.
It probably does seem like a very odd partnership, but it works. I mean, because I was mates with your dad for some years, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And you came along.
We should save
I've
origin
been grooming
story.
you since you were 15, you know.
We should save the true origin story for another episode, because
I agree.
It's good enough to be one on its own, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, we've known each other for years, and so I groomed you for when you were about 15. So I've always had my eye on the long term.
Maybe even younger.
Table, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But seriously, get to 56. I mean, obviously things ache more than they used to, and the yoga's helping massively. But the years have gone in a flash. It's just fucking. I find it really hard to believe, or certainly to feel, to grok the idea that I'm on the downward slope to 60 now. It's just not fucking on. I'm going to write a letter to the management. I want a refund on this. I don't remember signing up for this, you know.
Well, your management's fucking, they're both dead, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Fucking hell. I remember on my dad's 80th, I think he was 90 something when he went. On his 80th birthday, the neighbours asked him, the neighbour down the road, says, how does it feel to wake up on your 80th birthday, Jack? And he said, better than not waking up on your 80th birthday.
That's very...
Which is a good attitude to have.
Yeah, that is. What we can do, John, as a little birthday gift, is we can go to your mother's grave, dig her up, and you can crawl back inside one last time. Just cradle in the fetal position for hours.
Can you imagine? Actually, we'd struggle with that because, again, I'll tell the full story in another episode, but we had them both cremated and we scattered their ashes. That's the fucking funny story. But part of it is she went in 2005, so Dad lasted another 10 years. So for 10 years, because my dad was, we say there are no such things as price buyers. Well, my dad made lie of that. My dad was the tightest human being in the fucking universe, in the history of the universe. He was just so tight. Once, he held up an entire bank holiday fucking procession of, because he refused to pay the 50p to go into a car park, so we two kids could use the toilets. He just dumped the car in the entranceway, marched us all in, marched us all out again, and drove off. I'm not joking. Dad was that tight. Anyway, he went 10 years before, after she did. And so for 10 years, Mum existed in a really cheap, shitty plastic sweetie jar on the fucking shelf above the telly. Until he went, we had him cremated and we scattered the ashes, and that's how we'll sell that story. And that's fucking hilarious. That was. I'll give you a clue. I was walking around with my dad in my underpants for a few days.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, we'll tell the story another day. But birthdays, I mean, people have been. I haven't actually had any presents here. I'm not even sure if I've got any because of the fucking deliveries. I don't care. That's one. I don't really go for birthdays anyway, and two, in particular this year, it's just fucked up with the deliveries and stuff. But I spent the day doing bugger all. Actually, I've done a bit of French. Went into town earlier, spoke to my daughter, my middle girl. I've been chilling really. What I do is on my birthday, I write a letter to myself, but it's a bit different from most. It's dated next year, looking back over the coming 12 months. So the one I'm writing now, I'll finish it before I go to bed, is dated the 12th of January 2022, and it's basically talking about what I've done in the last year. It's a kind of goal-setting exercise, you know. The one I wrote last year, wrote it dated today, completely fucking wrong, of course, because no one imagined the world would descend into this clusterfuck. I mean, we've got Brexit, Trump, and COVID, the fucking unholy trinity, you know.
The three horsemen of 2020.
Hey?
The three horsemen of 2020.
Fucking hell, we've got to wonder what the fourth one's going to be, haven't we? So that didn't work out too well. But looking back, so what I do is, I mean, here's the thing about goals, you see. I wouldn't say goal setting is completely stupid. I think we all need something to aim for. If you haven't got a destination, how can you go there? But how can you plan to get there, rather? But the thing is, there's Earl Nightingale, one of my favourite personal development people. Actually, no, my very favourite personal development person. He used to talk about gold people and river people. And here's the really curious thing. I reckon most people are river people, but those who shout the loudest and make the biggest noise and are the ones who are most obvious are the gold people, because they're the ones shouting about their massive goals, and they stand out. People like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, you know, these massively successful people. And I think the mistake people make is many of us, like myself, are river people. I like doing what I'm doing in the river of my life. And I have goals in that I have little islands I want to visit, like learning French, doing yoga, building our business, becoming an established author, doing something in personal development, doing martial arts. They're all goals, but they're not this massive fucking mountain I'm climbing to get to the top of. And I think that's the mistake we make, because I think too many people, I think most people are like me, they're like river people. You know, I'd be content to be making, say, $1 million a year, because after a certain amount of money, again, research shows us that you don't get any happier as long as your needs are met, and different people have different needs. Now, if you're like Elon Musk, and one of your big needs is to have a fucking colony on Mars, I'm not judging it in any way, shape, or form, then of course you're not going to be happy until you've done that. But most of us are not like that. And that's okay. But what we find ourselves doing is we get sucked into all this Tony Robbins rah, rah, rah bollocks, and find ourselves taking on jobs and responsibilities, building businesses and making plans and goals that aren't really ours at all. And we find ourselves swept up, and I've done that before. I got swept up in the copywriting thing, and I realised, going back about 15 years now, I realised that this isn't actually what I fucking want. I'm only doing it because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what gives me a copywriter in the fucking gab they give. They talk themselves into this box. I actually don't want this.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And social media has definitely enhanced that to another level, because now everyone, in my opinion, is trying to build a Instagrammable life. people are caring far too much about things that really do not matter, and it's constant comparison. Depression in children is up astronomically, and when they're deep down into it, it always comes down to comparison. And when you deep down and drill down deeper again, that comparison comes from social media. You know, well, I saw Ashley in my maths class with a Louis Vuitton bag, for example. My family doesn't have a Louis Vuitton bag, therefore we are not successful as depicted by social media. And it's crazy. I've seen it a little bit in my brothers, who are both younger than me.
Really?
Yeah, and it's I had to have a conversation with my mum about it, because I was genuinely worried about my brother. Not that mum wasn't aware or anything like that. I just needed that comfort, I suppose. And I recommend everyone watches The Social Dilemma. It's
Yeah, I've seen a lot about that. I'd have no particular desire to watch it, because I don't think I'll learn anything that I don't already know to quite an instinctive level. I genuinely do not understand this social pressures, peer pressure thing. Never have.
Well, that's one of the, for all the cons of autisms, yeah, I'd imagine it's one of the pros for you.
Oh, absolutely,
without
doubt.
It's hardwired, John, isn't it, into us as humans? We're pack animals.
I suppose it is for most of you, not me.
Yeah. So it's genuinely hard coded.
Yeah, I was talking to, again, funnily enough, Holly about it this morning on a WhatsApp. We started with the autistic reporter thing. How funny that is. And one of the episodes, well, it's only like 2.5-minute videos, by The Onion, and it's just so funny. There's one where he's interviewing a bloke in prison. When the guy starts talking about his routine and how his days are regimented and things, he gets really excited. He wants to go to prison. It's true to. I mean, it's like any caricature. It's larger than life. Accurate. And Holly and I were saying that we both independently, thought abstractly about what would it be like to go to prison. And I've often thought it wouldn't be that. I mean, I wouldn't really want to go, because I like going outside, but it can't be as bad as they make out, surely, because you've got a roof over your head, you've got all that time to read books and
the only problem would be with as anything in life that I find as I get older would be the people.
Oh, of course, that's going to be a problem. But you could get yourself put in solitary. That'd be fucking
just lamp a few fucking officers.
So, but yeah, I mean, the thing about being autistic, I mean, people say their children turned autistic or they developed it. You don't develop it. You're fucking born that way. It just doesn't show itself until you start becoming aware of your surroundings and start having to interact. So, anything from probably 3 or 4 onwards. Although they do say now they've got some fairly sophisticated tests they can do earlier on. And it won't be many years, I don't think, before we've got genetic tests. But of course, some fucking social justice warrior types, especially some autistic ones, say we shouldn't be doing that, because then people might be having an abortion to stop having autistic children. Be that as it may, it's a woman's choice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a woman's choice,
and it's easy for these people to say that who haven't got autistic children, who are presenting so profoundly they can't even fucking wipe their own asses. No, until you've lived like that and realised that's never going to go away. Until you're doing that yourself, you don't have an opinion. You just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, there was an outcry. Well, I believe there was an outcry when they could do the Down syndrome test on the fetus.
Yeah.
And they were worried about spikes in abortions
over here. Yeah, again, it's
your body, your choice.
My view is a woman has the option. It's the woman's choice always, for any reason or no reason at all. You can't force someone to carry a baby to term morally. It's wrong. Yeah. And they say, what about the rights of the baby? Well, the rights of the baby do not trump the rights of the woman. They just don't.
No.
Because carrying a baby to term is still potentially life-threatening.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't protect one person's rights by infringing another's, and the woman's rights come first. They just do. Whether you like it or not isn't the point. And men have a fucking vote. They're not the ones carrying it. They're not the ones who've got to fucking. They're not the ones who've got to squeeze out something this big out of a hole this big.
I don't know. You should see me on the toilet.
I was going to say about post skip load shit. It's different, but
John, I do have a question.
You know what a skip load is, don't you?
I do know what a skip load is. Yes, you've told me about the farting, the shitting, the shagging whilst skip loading. the comas. When you get to know John, he's an
Yeah,
oversharer. If you don't know John, it's like getting blood out of a stone. But I do have a question for you. So you're 56, life's fleeting, it's flown by. Do you have any pearls of wisdom to a young man of 24 years age and 21 that may be younger than you, which is probably the majority and is listening?
In what respect? I've got loads.
Just give me three rules to live by, almost.
Okay, 3 rules to live by. 1 is mind your own business, stay in your own lane, right? Don't worry about other people doing what you want to do. 2, remember, you are going to die. I know it doesn't seem like it being 21, 22, 23. You feel like you're immortal. But there's 2 things. 1, you are going to die. And 2, you die right now easily. That's the first 2 things. Yeah, memento mori. So the first is, stay in your own lane. 2, remember you're going to die. And the 3 is, remember, it's later than you think. Meaning...
To elaborate?
Meaning it's later than you think. I mean, you think you've always got time, but you might not have.
Well,
you are going to die, and the third thing is you could die any time. You could leave life immediately. I mean, we remember we chuckled a few weeks ago about I found out my ex-girlfriend had died 16 years after the fact and 10 years after we'd split up, and she dropped dead of a brain hemorrhage while she was tending her horse. 1 minute, but when she woke up that morning and had breakfast and decided to go and sort her horse out, so to speak, I bet she didn't think, I'm not going to see lunchtime, I'm going to die. That can happen to any of us. We could all be harboring a little brain aneurysm. So those 3 things, really. Just start, whatever you want to do, just start now. I mean, the thing about knowing you're going to die, the second one is knowing you are going to die. And there's no 2 ways around it. However long or short you live, you are going to die one day. There is an end to the track. You do hit the buffers at some point. Whether you hit them slowly or quickly is entirely up to you. And what you do in between is entirely up to you. But knowing that's going to happen, why worry about anything at all? In a life where death is inevitable, why worry about anything at all? Why worry about whether you get made bankrupt, whether you lose your job, whether you make a fool of yourself, whether you start a business that fails and you don't even enjoy, so you have to do something else? None of it matters, because in 1,000 years, everybody listening to this, watching this, will be dead and forgotten too. Yeah. So what is the big deal?
Life is truly meaningless in the grand scheme of things. So you may as well enjoy yourself.
Life has only the meaning we give to it.
That's a wiser way of putting it.
Yeah, there's no objective meaning to it at all. There's no objective, as far as we're aware. There's no fucking God up there on his cloud with his stone tablets saying this is the meaning of life. It's just not true. Every religion, I mean, people say, yeah, but what about religion? And they've got all these big messages. What people need to remember is every single religion can be traced back to, or even if it cannot be traced back by our knowledge, it started at one day once with one person having an idea. And it just happened to catch on. That's all religion is. So the meaning of life is given by religion is no better than the meaning of life is given by fucking me or the bloke down the chip shop.
Yeah,
it's just one man and one woman with an idea.
It's why we talk about
longevity gives it legitimacy, and it doesn't. Hey,
it's part of the reason we talk about creating rules for yourself, creating your own guide to life, essentially, because it should be fairly obvious if the listeners know us that we're well into Stoicism, which is where the facing of your own mortality originally came from for myself. But there's quite a lot of similarity between typical religions and Stoicism, apart from there being this deity that said all of this must happen, and the weird worshipping side of things. There's a lot of similarities. And with your business, when approaching your approach to business, if you can create your own guidelines, it's going to make your life a lot easier, a lot less stressful. The reason I've transitioned into that is, again, you're 56, 3 pearls of wisdom when it comes to business.
When it comes to business,
when it comes to business,
decide whom you're going to sell to. That's the most important thing. Most people think about, what shall I do? What can I sell? It's the wrong thing to ask first, because you don't just need to know if there's a market for it, but you need to know, are there people out there who can afford it? So you might as well go for those people first. So the first thing is, who am I going to sell to? If you've got any brains, sell to people with a lot of money. And then you need to know, second thing is, okay, I need to know who I'm selling to. Then it's kind of, what problem am I solving? Because not only do you need people with money, you need people with money who have a problem they need solving. And then, and only then, do you start thinking about, okay, so how can I solve that? And that will then lead on to, what do I do? So who do I sell to? What problem do I solve? What problem do they have? And how can I solve it? Dead simple. Most people get it the wrong way around. Most people, they'll learn to become an electrician, so they'll start an electrician business. Nothing wrong with that, but it ain't necessarily the best way to do it. If you're at school saying, oh, okay, I'm at school, I've got no idea what I want to do. I want to make loads of money though. I want my own business. What shall I do is the wrong question. Who shall I sell to is the best question. Now, most of us listening to this, I'd imagine, are in business ourselves and probably want to grow and scale the business we have. Again, nothing wrong with that. So we have to deal with what we have, in which case you can still ask the question, whom do I want to sell to? What you do and the problem you solve is pretty much not cut and dried, but it's kind of, we're going in that route already, because I'm an electrician, I'm a plumber, I'm a floor layer, I'm a carpenter. So we've kind of we're a little bit constrained there. That's okay. But we can still say, who do I want to do electrician stuff for? Who do I want to do plumbing for? Who do I want to do carpentry for? Yeah, rich people. Rich people with a problem and homes that they care about. You know, to take the other view is, I once knew a lady who's told me, she was a teacher, she was an ex-teacher. She started off as a graphic designer on her own, and she wanted to make high quality graphic design affordable for everyone. She was fucking struggling for that reason, because her target market was everybody and anybody. And yeah, she was talking about going back to being a teacher because it just wasn't paying. It says, well, there's your problem, love. Don't care how good you are at your business, you're selling to the wrong people.
That's the problem with most businesses. Is they're selling to the wrong people.
Most people listening to this will probably they'll be listening to those 3 pearls of wisdom about, decide whom you want to sell to, what problem you solve, and then what you're going to do to solve it. Most people don't want to hear that. They're going to want to hear some ninja trick that they can get on Google or Yahoo or fucking, well, I show me age there. But they want a ninja trick they can pull tomorrow. But it's, we have the old business accelerator we used to give away for free, 5-minute videos that did change people's lives. So they told me. And it was just about fucking think who you want to sell to, identify your target market. What's the burning problem? But people don't want to do that because it's not sexy.
Yeah. And most people go wrong by answering number 1 by saying, well, anyone with a credit card.
I've had people say that to me.
I know you have.
Here's the thing.
It from you.
If you want to know, if you want to see how fucked up it is, consider what I've just said. How many conversations have you seen on LinkedIn say about how important it is to know whom you're selling to first before anything else? Maybe a handful. And then, how many conversations have you seen on LinkedIn in the last 2 weeks about something called Clubhouse?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. So people want this fucking fancy fad. And this is the classic distinction. We'll do an entire episode on this. This is the classic problem where they are confusing and conflating tactics with strategy. Clubhouse is a tactic, probably. I don't know nothing about it, not interested. Whereas deciding whom you want to sell to is definitely a fucking strategist, because everything that once you decide that, everything you do will revolve around that concept of this person. Whereas Clubhouse is just a fucking fart in a hurricane. It's tactical.
Yes, it is tactical, and it also looks like the worst app I've ever seen in my life.
I know nothing about it. Normally I would ignore these things just to be a fucking maverick, but I'm genuinely not even interested in doing that. It's not even on my radar. I don't even have a radar for these things anymore. It's a what?
I believe it's a networking app.
I gathered that, and isn't it by invitation only, which is something Google did with Gmail 15 years ago?
I don't know if it's invitation only, but if I am thinking of the correct app, you essentially, it's like a big canvas almost, and you're a little circle with your face in it, and you can like drag your circle around, and if you interlink your circle with someone, you can hear them and talk to them and see each other, and then other people can join in the conversation, and you can move around this virtual space interlinking and networking with people. It sounds horrific. It sounds like a fart in the wind.
Getting palpitations already.
Yeah. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone and some fucking American pops in. Hey guys, fuck off.
Hi everybody. So I was going about
Let
fucking
me tell you
Trump.
about my new app.
What could possibly go wrong? I mean, that app sounds like an autistic's fucking nightmare, to be honest.
It fucking does.
It really does. It sounds like the worst elements of being down the pub and none of the benefits of being pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, Clubhouse does not seem like well, I'm never going to say never, but I highly doubt we'll ever find ourselves on there.
I must admit, having heard you describe, I'm intrigued now. I'm not going to join. I'm not interested in joining, but it'll make an interesting case study. Look back in 6 months, see what happens to it. Because you remember Periscope? I don't know if it's still going on. I never had an account, but Periscope did the same thing. Periscope was all of a sudden it was going to be the latest thing, and then of course it wasn't. I just despair of people. I just miss out the fundamentals. I mean, the fundamental thing. Here's the thing: people love to pin all their hopes on externals. Goals, going back to what we were saying earlier, goals being one of them.
Yeah, I fucking hate
define themselves by their goals. And well, I remember a conversation on LinkedIn. It was before COVID, so it's at least 9 months ago. And this woman was saying about how she's in control of her goals, and I said to her, "You're not." "Oh, yes, I am." And I said, "You're not." And I can easily prove it, because you could have all the goals in the world, you could have the best plan in the world, perfectly executed, and a meteorite or a 747 could land on your house like it did at Lockerbie in the 80s, and you could be dead and you won't reach your goals, and that's beyond your control. "Yeah, but I choose to believe I'm in control of my destiny." And I says, "Well, you can choose to believe you're Napoleon fucking Bonaparte if you want. It doesn't make it true. Your opinion, which is what a belief is not the same fucking fact, is it, you stupid cow?" I was probably a bit more polite than that, but possibly not. I can't remember now. But this is the thing, none of us are in control of whether we reach our goals or not. And the analogy I use is the archer. I mean, I'm a big fan of the old longbow. I've got a book up there. It's about 1.5 inches thick, and it's like yay big by yay big, hardback. It's a beautiful book. It's called The War Bow. It's all about the fucking yew bow, the old English bow. And the analogy I use is hitting your goals, aiming for your goals, is a little bit like an archer. Now, the old archers, they would train from little boys with little bows and arrows right up until adulthood, 10, 15 years or so, to the point where they found skeletons and they're deformed because the right arm is massively powerful, pulling back, because these things are 170-pound draw, and they were so hard to draw, you couldn't aim it like this. You turned your entire body, so aiming it became instinctive. So it took years and years and years. But when they got good, they were good. They could, for instance, the visor of a suit of armor, they could put an arrow through the visor, maybe 300 or 400 yards, or something ridiculous like that. Maybe not that far, but certainly hundreds of feet. So the French, when they were fighting the French, couldn't even have the fucking visors up because they just go. And these guys are very skilled. So you can imagine an archer who's been training for 15, 20 years on the village green. This guy knows how to shoot an arrow. He can line up his shot. He can draw the arrow perfectly. He can release the arrow at exactly the right time. It's the perfect textbook shot. But in between the arrow leaving the bow and hitting the knight in the face, the wind could come up, the knight could move, someone else could come in between the two, a bird could fly in the way. The arrow could shatter once he lets it go, because they would sometimes do that. Those things are all beyond his control. So no matter what he did, the perfect executed shot would still miss the target, didn't reach his goal. Well, our plans are like that. We can have the most meticulous, laid out plan and not reach it. And it's way beyond our control. We could die, our target could disappear, because it just might be. You might say, I want to get a person as a client as my goal this year. Say, I don't know, sake of argument, I want to become personal assistant to Jeff Bezos. Well, Jeff Bezos could die. Then you'll fail in your goal, and you can't control that because you don't control whether or not Jeff Bezos dies. And rich people do die because Steve Jobs did. All these things can happen beyond your control, and they are beyond your control. So if you think about it, basing your future happiness, your mental well-being, your sense of self, your self-worth, your self-esteem, basing all those things on whether or not you achieve your goals is folly. Because all you're doing is you're basically saying, I'm throwing it all to luck. Because that's what luck is. Luck is functionally anything we don't control. That is luck. That's what luck is. Yeah? Good luck and bad luck, that's what they are. I've always found now it's far better for me to live by 5 words. Focusing on my own actions, and they are, did you do your best? Or in my case, did I do my best? 5 words. And if you did do your best, regardless of the outcome, which you don't control, you are successful. Your best.
I would agree with that. I'd agree with that. We could also...
It works at every level too. I mean, you can imagine a single, say I'm writing an email. I admit every day I write an email, I don't do my best. I will admit that. But if I was that concerned about it and do one every single day, as long as I write that email perfectly every day, if that's all I've got to do that day, and I do it as best I possibly can, with all my copywriting knowledge and expertise, we'd make more money, we'd make more sales. I know we would. That would be successful, but it's not guaranteed because sometimes you won't. But then it works on every single level. It ramps up to, if I do everything within my power to get to get Jeff Bezos as my client, if I'm his PA. If I keep doing the right things, the chances are I will succeed. If I don't, it's beyond my control. But I'll still be successful. I can still go to bed at night and feel good that I've done my best. Isn't that what life should be about, maybe? Well, I don't speak for anyone else except myself.
It's definitely better than setting crazy goals, as you said, that are completely out of your control. Just every day, wake up, do your best.
The goal that's not to do with yourself is outside your control, even if it's tomorrow I'm going to go into town. That's not within your control. Now, to say it tomorrow I'm going to do my best, I'm going to have the perfect journey into town, that's within your control. But actually getting into town, the town might get hit by a nuclear bomb. You might not have a town to go to.
I'd tell you what, I've got a fitting.
Let me just turn on this panel.
Go on, mate. I have a fitting story that fits into that. I started having weird aches and pains in my joints, so I set the goal of, right, I'm gonna lose X amount of weight. I can't remember what it was because I put on some timber because I was fucking sore everywhere. And part of losing that weight was exercising more. But of course, the more I exercised, the more I hurt, to the point where it was unbearable. So I went to the doctors, diagnosed with a type of arthritis. So all of a sudden, my goal of losing weight is now much harder to achieve. Now a simple change to, right, what you're going to do every day instead is you're going to do some yoga and you're going to do some walking every day. Well, that's far more manageable than saying you are going to lose 3 stone.
Yeah,
because ultimately that was taken away from me at that moment, because it's impossible without starving myself. It was impossible to do that much exercise to lose the amount of weight I wanted to do.
That's a really good analogy.
Because I couldn't do the exercise.
I mean, Phil, my PT, he talks about this. He tells people, if you follow the process, all things being equal, the process will work. It might work quicker or slower, but here's what the process is. And this is why I often say to people, and it sounds a little bit, it probably sounds quite scary, don't have confidence in the outcome, have confidence in the process.
Yeah, trust the process.
You know what you need to do to lose weight and gain muscle and the rest of it. How quickly that happens and whether it happens all the time because of various things beyond our control, we don't know. But we do know, on balance, if we do this for long enough in the right way and do it diligently enough, we will work. Well, that's how I got a 6-pack. I mean, it's easy for me to eat the same thing every fucking day because of being autistic. But I eat the same thing every day, same exercise, same routine, and it works. I mean, I get my 6-pack twice a year, and the rest of the time I go up a little bit. It's all managed. It's not as out of control. I look around at my peers, other middle-aged men of 56, and they're fucking fat bastards with fucking shitty comb overs, look like Jabba the Hutt with a bad hairdo. So I think the traditional goal setting is fundamentally flawed. Not only does it not suit most people because we're not wired up that way, but it's fallacious. It's on a fallacious premise. You are not in control of whether or not you reach your goal. And to say it works on every level, whether it's writing a daily email, sitting down in front of a client, you do not control the outcome. You can have this process, perfect or a highly effective selling process like we've got. We don't close everyone. And if we got upset every time we didn't get us yes, we'd be fucking basket cases. But we know out of every 100, we might close 70. Well, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Every person I sit in front of, you might get 10 say no, but then you might get several say yes. We trust in the process, not the outcome of each individual thing. And if more people did that, the world would be a much happier place. We should be teaching this kind of stuff in school. And it's not helpful.
They are now, John.
Oh, good.
My brother's school realized, my youngest brother's school realized this spike in depression with children and yada, yada, yada. So they're teaching mindfulness, they meditate, they do yoga as well for flexibility, which is kind of unrelated, but I thought I'd throw it in there. And they have classes, I don't know what they call it, but they talk about practicing philosophy, being more philosophical in your approach to life rather than typical philosophy that's taught at school.
We should
he is at a private school though, so he is at a private school.
We should be teaching kids resilience, stoicism.
Yeah,
because I'm sick and tired of seeing people writing on LinkedIn about how some person, some event, some series of circumstances, some set of circumstances has made them miserable, made them unhappy. No, it hasn't. And I'm not denying the fact that shit happens and it's okay to feel bad about it. But wallowing in it is pointless, and it isn't the other person's fault. I know someone who's not in a good place at the moment, and it comes down to her mother. Her mother treated her like shit. She was extremely mentally ill for a while, and she's still doing it. And I said to her, look, you're gonna have to forgive her, because what you're doing at the moment is you're carrying this burden around, and your mum ain't going to give you what you want. She's not going to apologize to you. She's not going to admit to any guilt, because she doesn't think she's done anything wrong. She's this narcissistic type of person. She's not going to admit to anything. You're basing your happiness and well-being on something which is outside your control and isn't going to happen. This other person is not going to give it to you. And the thing about forgiveness is not about saying, oh, that was okay, you can do it again, I'm okay with it. Forgiveness is about saying, look, there's this shitty burden I've been carrying. I'm going to put it down now, and I'm going on without it. It's your burden now. Now, if you want to leave it there and not learn from it, that's up to you. Or you can pick it up yourself and carry it. I don't care what you do with it, but it's yours. Nothing to do with me anymore. That's what forgiveness is. And I learned a long time ago just to forgive people. And it doesn't mean to say that I think what they did is okay. It doesn't mean to say what they did didn't hurt, didn't cause me problems. But what it does mean is I ain't carrying that burden. So all the shit my ex put me through, all the shit I've been through with clients in the past before I learned how to deal with them, all that shit, that's all on me. I'll take responsibility for it, take that burden. And if I take responsibility for the burden, I can then put it down. If I don't take responsibility for it, I can't let go of it, because it ain't mine to drop, you know?
I completely agree. And do you know what the funny thing is? If you ever have one of those conversations face to face with the people that have wronged you, there's ever been a situation, if you ever say, you know, like, forgive you, let's forget about, oh, you're trying to be the bigger person now, are you? Fuck off. No, I'm being selfish. I'm trying to just rid myself of this drama. I'm not trying to be the bigger, better person. I'm being completely and utterly selfish here. Fuck off. Talking of selfish, I've had so many conversations with my partner about how annoying I find the fact that the word selfish is seen as negative. Everyone is selfish. If you're not selfish, there's something mentally wrong with you. It is good to be selfish, and the world is a better place if everyone is selfish. It's the airplane analogy, isn't it? Help yourself before you can fucking help anyone else. Everyone is inherently selfish deep down, and anyone who tries their best not to be so-called selfish, they're mentally deranged.
I have found to be that the most obnoxious people I found are selfless altruists.
Yeah,
because they will use violence and force to make you do what's best for yourself in your own interests. They are the kind of people who like to become politicians and enter government because they like to fucking enforce their will upon you.
Career politicians, fuck me, how is that a thing?
But yeah, I'm not too keen on them myself. So yeah, that's goal setting. And of course, the worst thing about goal setting, I've got a rant coming on now. The worst thing, get your timer ready.
Oh, is it time for the 1 minute hate?
Time for the 1 minute hate. The worst, very fucking worst thing.
Let me count you in. 3, 2, 1, start.
The very fucking worst thing are those people who like to say you can do anything, nothing is impossible, age is just a number. It's all bollocks. Some things are clearly impossible. You find me a prime number greater than 2, which is an even number. Well, you can't. There isn't one. Find me the biggest prime number. You can't, because there isn't one. There's an infinite number. And to say you can be anything you want to be, no, you can't. I can't be my own father. What if I want to be the person who can't be anything he wants to be? It's a fucking paradox. It's fucking stupid. But these people, they say it, they don't even fucking think what they're saying. If they thought for one moment rationally, critically about what they're saying, they just shut the fuck up. And then you get people, they just swallow it, and they pay all this fucking money to people like Tony Robbins. They're all fired up and enthusiastic. They come away from it without a real plan. No, they've got this fucking big goal that's beyond their control anyway, and they fail. And of course, 1 or 2 people succeed, and Tony Robbins and the like hold up and say, look what these people did. What about the millions who didn't? What about the tens of thousands?
Time.
What about the graveyard of failures? Fucking hell.
Stop the hate.
Stop the hate.
Stop the hate.
Yeah, I just got to say one thing. This is not, it is part of the rant, but I won't say it in a ranting way. And to say age is just a number pertinent to my birthday is clearly nonsensical. If age was just a number, we would have a large number of arbitrarily old people, 200, 500, 1,000 years old people walking around. We don't. There's probably not anyone on Earth older than 130 years old. And if there are, it's a handful. No one gets past 200. Never has, as far as we know. So age clearly is not just a number at all. But again, it's one of those things that if you say it loudly enough and enthusiastically enough, people will buy into it, like all this goal-setting bollocks, you know?
Yeah. If they say age is a number, just say, well, I assume you agree it's okay to fuck children then.
How are those two things linked? Yeah, good, very good point. Very good point.
You can't fuck this baby. It's only 3 months old. Well, on the contrary,
age is just a number.
Age is just a number. And that
imagine
that one is going to be.
Imagine that one in court. Imagine using that. You imagine using that one in court.
God. So the long story short is, when it comes to your goal setting, make it fucking things that you can control and is in your sphere of your control. If you've never sat down and really thought about your life and your sphere of control, you have to do that fucking first and foremost. And number 2, when it comes to your goal setting, do not set goals that are about things that are outside of your fucking control. It's like setting your goal. I'm going to boost staff productivity by 20% this year because it's going to lead to X amount more profits. Fuck off! You can't control your staff like that, dickhead.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for anyone listening to this, I mean, I know we josh around and we jump around, but the serious point here: if you want to set goals, here's what you do. Pick something you want to achieve. That's fine. That is a goal. Then, if you want the greatest chance to achieve it, turn it into a plan of actions you can carry out, and you know you will carry out every single day to get there. Because so losing weight, I mean, I love to use the losing weight and PT as an analogy in business, because it's a simple, self-contained thing we all understand. We all know what it takes to lose weight. I know we'd all like to think there's a special pill you can take to lose weight, but there isn't. We all know it comes down to eating less, exercising more, and doing it over a period of time. It's that simple. Yeah, there's some tricks, but that's essentially it. We set your goal. I want to lose some weight. Okay. No point in fixating on it. Then you say, oh, what do I need to do to reach that goal? Well, I don't know how long it's going to take, but here's what I'm going to do every day. I'm going to eat 1,500 calories. I'm going to walk 5 miles. I'm going to gym 3 times a week. I can control all of those things. If I do that, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years. But if I keep doing that, I will lose the weight. That's it. Well, it's the same in business. Your clients, figure out how many you want, what that means, what you need to do to get them, then do it. Day after day after day after day after day. And you will get there eventually. And you control all of it. What were we going to say?
Yeah, I had to hold myself back because what you were saying was perfect to just be snipped up and to put on fucking LinkedIn and whatnot. And I was going to selfishly interrupt, and I'm going to say it now. What really drives me fucking mental about the world of weight loss specifically are these skinny teas that women buy into and these skinny coffees. They're just fucking laxatives. and they believe it's this one thing that they've been missing all their life to finally shed those pounds, and they just end up shitting themselves because these females.
Hot, though,
well, it depends on your fetish. You know, we don't kink shame here. There's no kink shaming here.
We don't kink shame. This is true, actually, guys. If you want to join us in our Foundations Inner Circle, we don't kink shame.
If we let you in. In fact, we ask you, what's your kink? If you don't have one,
don't tell us you're not in.
Shit, yeah, off you go.
True.
The Power of Habit is a fantastic book, isn't it?
Charles Duhigg, yes, absolutely.
Power
I mean,
Habit.
it's a kind of more intellectual version of Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits is probably the better one to mention to the listeners, isn't it? Because it's easier to get a grasp.
Are you implying our listeners are thick?
Something like 3 in 5 people have ridiculously low IQs and therefore are thick. Yeah. And I love our clients, but when we recommend, our clients really specialize in detailed books. They go, didn't like that. And then we recommend them a more baby watered down version. They go, that was really good. I'm going to read the harder one now. So start with Atomic Habits.
Guys, I'm not getting involved in this conversation. This is Connor, not me.
Hey,
he's the snob.
Come at me, clients. I recommend, fucking John says, read How to Think Like a Roman Emperor, and you'll go, oh, it talks too much. Fuck off.
Connor's absolutely right. I don't think it's a question of intelligence necessarily, not all the time. I think it's also, we've been doing this a long time. It's all we do. These guys have got businesses to run.
Yes, absolutely.
They probably can't spend all day reading the kind of esoteric shit we do.
We get paid to read. Professional readers.
Well, they pay us to distill all this knowledge into usable, actionable plans. I mean, when they're in our mastermind, we have actual fucking step-by-step plans for them, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to make it clear.
90 days in 90 minutes is what we're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to make it clear. I don't think any of our clients are stupid because they made the smart decision of joining us.
Oh, and Vicky's pretty thick.
Yeah, but she don't pay much. You know, the more you pay, the smarter you are in my eyes. You see?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is the folly of...
That's it, isn't it, for today? My birthday.
Yeah, your birthday bash. Just having a rant about fucking goal setting.
To me.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear EBG. Happy birthday to me.
To you.
Got to blow the candles.
I was going to say something else, but it's perfect just to leave it there.
All right, cool. Well, what's the sign off? What do we say? Us if they want more.
If you want to sort your fucking, if you want to make, what's your little spiel? Make more sales with more profit, with less hassle and less headaches. Fuck. What is it?
Let me do it. You're no good at it. If you want to make more money with less work, less hassle, and fewer headaches, go to ottcollective.com. No, .co.uk. Don't go to .com.
Prick.
Somewhere else.
Prick.
ottcollective.co.uk.
That will also forward you to our Facebook group. You can apply to join,
which is the Off the Tools Collective.
We genuinely do review.
You can join, and inside there, you'll get a whole shit ton of resources from us and recommendations from others, which basically touches on everything we've spoken about: goal setting, 90 days in 90 minutes, all that kind of shit. Everything we speak about today is applicable to your business. I know we laugh about it and stuff, but it's your business, resources and recommendations and conversations and videos and shit on the inside. ottcollective.co.uk.
Absolutely. And we'll review your application, let you in if we like the look of you. We rate you on your profile picture. So if you've got a picture of your fucking truck, we probably won't let you in. And what?
We rate you on 2 things. You're pink.
You cut out again.
I said we rate you on your profile picture and your kink.
Oh, and your kink. We should add that. What's your kink? There's a whole section on TikTok called Kink Talk. And it's just these fucking horny women talking about fucking being shat on. Anyway, we've done happy birthday. Thank you very much for listening. Go to ottcollective.co.uk. It's where we talk about the fucking podcast, all of the resources that John has just mentioned to help you do all of the things that he says far better than I can. And if you want our help even further, the best place to go is to join the group and to message Holly within the group, and she'll get you the details. Anyway, gotta go. That's exactly the hour mark.
Stay inside, wash your hands and don't shit on your fingers.
Woohoo!